Hi, I'm Juan Williams, in for Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us this evening. Our top story tonight, get ready to pay up as you ring in the new year. An onslaught of new taxes and hidden fees take effect in just days, and they will take billions of dollars out of Americans' pockets to help cover the cost of Obamacare. It's all in the name of making health care more affordable, but a new analysis by USA Today shows the opposite for many Americans who don't qualify for government subsidies. In states using the federal Obamacare website, more than half the counties lack affordable health plans for 40-year-old couples, and more than a third don't offer affordable plans for people over 50. Can Americans withstand the crushing new cost of Obamacare in the new year? Joining us now from Washington to analyze, Fox News political analyst Charles Krauthammer, the author of Things That Matter, the #1 New York Times bestseller, now available on audiobook CD. Charles, I am looking here at a list in my mind, in my hand I should say, of some of these new taxes and fees. Of course, we know about the individual mandate that's going to tax, that's what the Supreme Court said, put a tax on people who don't sign up. But you've also got taxes on medical devices. You've got a Medicare payroll tax. In all, you've got 20 new taxes in Obamacare, 9 that have taken effect this year or next. What are all these hidden taxes and fees coming for? What is it going to do for anybody?
Well, how do you think Sandra Fluck gets her free contraceptives? Remember all the free stuff people are getting, the free mammograms, the free preventative care, the free everything? Nothing is free in this world. What Obamacare managed to do, very cleverly, when it was selling itself, is to hide all these taxes. They're $1 trillion a year. As the ones you mentioned are just a sample, and they are everywhere. And then there's the one that you mentioned in your introduction, which is the hidden tax. People tossed off their private insurance, and then it'll be in the future people tossed off their employer insurance, who now have to buy plans with all of these bells and whistles that people don't want. But it does that to artificially inflate the premium and thus use that extra money people are paying, the hike in their premium, and to use it to subsidize other people. So the cost here that people are paying out is huge. And what you mentioned about the middle and the upper middle class is they are being asked to subsidize anybody up to 3 times the poverty line. So that's the plan. This is a huge transfer of wealth. That was always in the bill. It was never anything that couldn't have been seen. But the media and most analysts and, of course, Democrats were uninterested in looking at it at all.
Well, here's the thing. You know, it's supposed to help people, especially people who have been lacking in health insurance or underinsured. But what the USA Today story indicated is that somebody who is making a middle income, you know, an individual making $50,000 or so, a couple making $60,000, if they don't qualify for that subsidy, Charles, their cost of insurance, their premium under the Obamacare plan is going to be more than 8% of their income, which is what Obamacare says is the base. You should pay no more than 8%. But now they're going to have to pay much more, and they're going to have to pay the added fees and the added taxes. So there are people who are being squeezed. We've already talked about people who've had plans canceled, but here's a segment that's new to the table as being squeezed and possibly squeezed out of all health insurance.
Well, that was the fraud of Obama's campaign promise. They pretended they only wanted to tax the upper 2%, you know, the very rich and the plutocrats and all that. But what they didn't say is that hidden in Obamacare were billions, tens of billions of dollars of tax hike on the middle, as you say, 50,000. That's about the median income in the country, household income, and the upper middle class. This is a huge tax on the middle class. But Obama posed as a defender of the middle class against the very rich. Now we look inside. Remember, Pelosi said we're not going to know what's in the bill until we pass it. Well, we passed it. We're enacting it, and now we can see what was in it all the time.
Now, but Charles,
don't like it.
Charles, well, part of this, though, and this is where I started with you this evening, was to say, what's all this? Where's all this money going? What's it for? What are all these hidden taxes and fees for? Part of it, it seems to me, is to help the insurance companies in case that their risk pools don't pan out, that they don't get enough young, healthy people. It's to make sure that they have some compensation. In fact, what we know is there are so-called risk corridors put in there so the government can give money to the insurance companies if they're not getting enough money back. So is this going to result in the government doing a GM and bailing out the insurance companies down the line?
Well, that's what the insurers are scared to death about. You've gotten all these new audibles called at the scrimmage line by the administration, the new rules, the extension of the deadlines, the instruction that anybody who has canceled insurance no longer has to pay a fine or a tax or can buy a very cheap catastrophic plan. This stuff is being tossed at the insurers at the last moment. They already are looking at a catastrophe of enrollment, hugely under-enrolled and hugely weighted against the young and the healthy, the ones who are supposed to subsidize everybody else. They can see billions of losses down the road, and there's only one way out of that, Juan. That's going to be a bailout. That's why the administration is somewhat serene, and that's why the Republicans have to get up right now and to pass a bill saying no bailout, at least in the House.
Charles, we're going to come back to you in just a moment.